Good evening. Welcome to the Trenton Board of Education public meeting. Are we good? Okay. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Yolanda Lopez.
Present.
Gerald Trueheart. Absent. Gene Bowie.
Present.
Addie Daniels Lane.
Present.
Austin Edwards.
Present.
Denise Johnson.
Present.
Sasa Montagna, absent. Larry Traylor.
Present.
Jeannie Weeklam.
Present.
We have a quorum.
The New Jersey Sunshine Law. The New Jersey Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right to the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted on. On the rules of this act, the Trenton Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting by publicizing the date, time, and place, therefore posted on the webpage, the Times, and the Star Ledger. Our mission statement, a formal action will take place during this meeting. Mission statement: all students will graduate with a vision for their future, motivated to learn continually and prepared to succeed in their choice of college or career. May I please have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. Yolanda Lopez.
Yes.
Gerald Trueheart.
Present. Yes. Am I saying yes? Okay. Yes, it is.
Gene Bowie.
Yes.
Addie Daniels Lane.
Yes.
Austin Edwards.
Yes.
Denise Johnson.
Yes.
Sasa Montagna, absent. Larry Traylor.
Yes.
Jeannie Weeklam.
Yes.
Motion passed.
At this time, we will have our superintendent with his remarks and with his presentation.
Good afternoon and welcome on this nice brisk evening as you get ready for the holidays. So just wanted to make a few announcements. So we're excited this evening to have Harvard Protection Services here with us. We learned that they are doing some outstanding work by recognizing some of our employees, some of their employees who work with us in district. And we're excited about that. They recognize 2 employees a month for their diligence in servicing the students of Trenton Public Schools. The security officers that were selected at the and the board, the president of Harvard Protection Services, Dave Alito, are here tonight. So I'd ask you to just please wave or stand, if you will, those of you who were selected. So we're very proud of you. We talk often about the work that everyone in our organization has to do to keep our kids safe, to educate them, to help them feel mentally comfortable. And so we certainly want to recognize the outstanding work that security does in our building to keep our students safe. And not only that, they build relationships. So when there's good to share, we certainly want to do that. And thank you for your work. Also want to recognize the Trenton Board of Education. For those of you who don't know, they were recognized on or honored on November 18th at the Mercer County Board of Education meeting for their outstanding work. Trenton Public School is proud to announce that the Trenton Board of Education has satisfied all requirements to receive the Carol E. Larson Master Board certification through the New Jersey School Board Academy. The Carol E. Larson Master Board certification is awarded in recognition of high-performing boards. The board must provide evidence to demonstrate an emphasis on student achievement in their board actions. To earn the Carol E. Larson Master Board certification, a currently certified board within the first 2 years of earning its certification must also complete at least 10 additional hours of training for a total of 26 board credits. That's hours that they spent with me that I wasn't able to opt out of. And so, but we had, as I said at the Mercer County Board of Education meeting, it was a real treat to listen to the sacrifice, and then the board understanding the larger perspective, not that they didn't know, but it's hard work and they volunteer to do this work, but understanding what the real mission is around student achievement, student safety, staff wellness, and everything that goes into a successful school board and educational system. So just want to take this opportunity to recognize them by name. Brother Gene Bowie, just wave your hand if you will. Brother Bowie, Addie Daniels Lane, Denise Johnson, Jeannie Weeklam, Austin Edwards, Sasa Olesi Montano, Larry Traylor, Board Vice President Gerald Trueheart, and Board President Yolanda Morero Lopez on becoming Master Board Certified. Congratulations to all of you. Just as I read down, I realized that I have names that I wrote down, and I was so excited to have security here with us. But if you're here with us this evening, I do not want to miss an opportunity to say your name. So if you're here, please stand for September. Shaquana Morton, you're here? Thank you. Shaquana is at Grant Intermediate School. Mr. Fernando Savitny, if I spell that or say it wrong, I do apologize. Mr. Savatny is at Holland Middle School. And for the month of October, Jordan Surgic, or Surgic, is Jordan here? Jordan is at Trenton Central High School. And Tamara Muse is at Harrison Elementary School. So thank you for joining us. Sorry I missed you on the front end, but we did want to recognize you and thank you for joining us this evening and for the work that you're doing. Just another quick note, on the board agenda is an executive director of special programs and school support. So just as for clarity, I want to make it clear that we are not adding a position. I know that that can be in question sometimes. We are looking to transition that position from an assistant superintendent to an executive director. All of the duties in our district are currently covered. It gives us an opportunity to look at our candidates in a different way. It does not change the certification. The job would be prepared to supervise administrators in its capacity. However, it would not have the typical county board of education requirements that an assistant superintendent would. So this is not an additional position. It is in substitute of one. So I wanted to let you know that. And we had that discussion with a few board members here, just checking to make sure. But special programs, we have so many in district and they're so difficult to manage. And so we thought maybe bringing a person with us takes some of that from the work that we do in the schools, coordinates it so that we can facilitate it much better than we have in the past. So we're very excited about the position. We will look at to see what candidates are out there. It may very well mean that we stay with the assistant superintendent for school support in the long run, but just wanted to put that out there so that the public knew we were not adding positions. That is not my goal. My goal is to hopefully do high quality work with the right number of people. I won't say less people. We will get the people that we need to do the work. And then my last message is for those of you who celebrate Thanksgiving, please do so in a happy, healthy way. I hope you spend time with your families and enjoy this time together. Family is very important, and blood doesn't always mean family, but wherever you celebrate, please be safe always in this district, because I try to make sure I focus on those who need our services, potentially need our support, and just need us on this podium, those of you in the audience, always think about those who are in need during this time and invite someone that you haven't invited into your circle. So I want to wish you all a happy and healthy holiday season. Be safe if you travel. Thank you. Okay, is this Jordan? Jordan, please stand and be recognized. Jordan is stationed at Trenton Central High School. We appreciate his work, and thank you for coming this evening. All right. All right, at this time I will.
Yes. Superintendent will be going down so he can make his presentation to the board in as far as the progress made on our goals for this year.
All right, thank you again. This evening, we are going to just share just a little bit of information about our progress, our goals. We have the strategic goals, and from those goals, I know the board and I worked together this summer, or several times, on developing goals. And I want to take you through that process just to make sure everyone has an idea of how we develop these goals, and then just talk about a little bit of the progress that we've made to this point. And it's early November, so sometimes implementation is just that. We're implementing. And as a colleague said to me once, progress is a stampede of turtles. And if you put that analogy in your head, it just takes steady, long progress. And quite often what you will see for the public in many of our goals is we repeat them each year. And I always sell the analogy someone said of swimming, of a sports analogy about training athletes. We typically train on the same high-level skills to be successful, and that's what we do here. We won't repeat the goals. We won't establish or develop new goals all the time. Sometimes it's just go back in the second year, do that better, go deeper, more research, more listening, more collaboration, and those types of things. So as we go through this, I'll share a good bit about how we got here, and then about some of the progress, and then I'll take questions from the board on any thing that you have and you wanted to discuss. So just as a point of note, I want to thank our tech team and all of you for the new technology. So we're trying this. We don't need a clicker anymore. If you can use your computer and able to toggle from space to space, slide to slide, so you can do it right here from the comfort of your own computer if it works. And we have monitors for the board to see, and we tried to upgrade for the audience to see. So I want to thank our tech department, Mrs. Reyes, and our whole team for getting this done, Ms. Howard, and everyone who was involved. Our buildings and grounds team, from everyone who set this up. New seating, so we're trying to, it doesn't mean that master board certification gets you this, it just means, I know that was said a few minutes ago, but no, this was because we needed this for our public and people to step into a space that resemble the high quality work that we want to do across the district. So just a brief introduction. You know that we have the strategic plan, which outlines 5 goals. It was initiated or started my first year here in 2021, and it goes through 2026. So we're in our 4th year of the strategic plan, and it'll end next year, which means we probably need to start thinking about what this looks like moving forward, what education looks like in the new landscape. So we certainly need to have those conversations. Goal 1, these are the goals outlined in the strategic plan. Student achievement is goal 1. community engagement and partnerships. Goal 2, developing the whole child, staff development and well-being, and this one should be facilities, infrastructure, and finance. We have added that, so I missed a word. But these are the goals that were established by the board when I walked in the door, and I was told I can come, but you have to implement this. So I've tried to do my best to live into this document, finding people who believe in our plan, who want to come and work in Trenton to do the work long term. So these goals are very vital to us. And quite often you'll hear, what are we doing here? And we may not answer or may not engage, but there is a plan. And sometimes we are not successful at that plan, but you grow from failure. And so that's the goal, to implement and do something about our circumstances here for the children we serve and for the families we serve. So just a quick note, if you want to find the board goals and haven't had a chance, because I'm going to give you a high-level overview, but there's a very detailed document. It has more pages than I'll have here this evening. So if you want to get more information about the goal, go to the district website, hover over About Us. You will scroll down to Strategic Plan and select 24, 25 board goals. That's the most current document. This is goal progress. And so when you go there, you'll see this, and I'm going to try this and see if I can be successful. You're going to see this document, and you can see that this document is expansive. It goes 26 pages, and there's a lot of depth. We did shave this document from 26 because there's so much to think about doing in district, and we want to do so much. And this year, just so you know, this happens every year that we get with the board. We take our data, we take a look, we hear from our constituents, and we say, here's what we think we can accomplish in a year. But you can see, if I toggle to page 12, developing the whole child, it's bookmarked. See, I can go to it, and maybe it's not going to do it here. Let me move. So you can go through each goal, technology and innovation. So you're going to see a little bit of this, but the detail, there are probably 4 more pages to this goal. But writing a lot doesn't mean you accomplish a lot. And so this is the plan that you see when you go on the board website. So I just wanted to give the public an idea that this is what we work on all the time. Every discussion is around, does this meet the requirement around the goals we set as a team with the board through the data that we use to make decisions? And I was trying to go to goal 3, so let me go there. Developing the whole child. You can see the depth of information in goal 3, which is facilitated by Dr. Conway. We have assistant superintendents or executive directors that facilitate each goal area. So you can see the depth of information. This is what you access when you go to our district website. So as I put up a few minutes ago, you can get there by following those steps. If you want to take a picture, I will post this presentation shortly after. I'll add some more information because I don't want it to be so light in information and post it, but I'll put that guide to how you can access the document if necessary. But this gives you an idea of the depth of information that you can access around what we do in our goal work. So we'll go back to presentation mode. And so student achievement. So we actually spent some time thinking about what do we want to do in student achievement. So students will improve learning for all students through exposure to high quality instruction, including project-based and collaborative learning by equipping them with fundamental academic skills and 21st century skills across all disciplines. A lot of stuff, but it says high quality instruction. Project-based learning. We know that using project-based learning or an experience connects learning. So we want to always expose our children to opportunities in the classroom. However, this has been around for a long time in Trenton, and as I get to the presentation about where we are now, you'll understand this is not new. We're just, as I talked about that sports analogy, training deeper, collaborating around language and approach so that we want 100% of our students to access this, not 50, not 30, not 12. We want 100% of our students to have high-level project-based and collaborative learning opportunities that equip them with 21st century skills. Community engagement and partnerships. We've done tremendous work around this, looking at different ways to pull our community in, understanding who we serve, trying to figure out when they're available. But this goal is Trenton Public Schools will ensure that effective community engagement leads to strong relationships among stakeholders, increasing participation, and shared vision, mission, and goals. Number 3, developing the whole child. Probably have done some of our most critical work because we know if we don't provide this safe, welcoming, nurturing environment, students can't learn. So this goal has been near and dear to all of us, and we focus, we stay in that work, because at the end of the day, if a student cannot connect to the instruction yet, but they're safe, they will. They will, so we stay there. TPS will provide a safe, welcoming, nurturing, learning environment that fosters a sense of belonging and empathy for their communities, so all students are equipped to learn. Empathy for their communities, critical in that work. Staff development and well-being. TPS will expose all staff to professional development opportunities to include professional, academic, personal, physical, mental health, and wellness, providing them with the tools they need to ensure student success. If we don't take care of the people rowing the boat won't go. So we have to continue to do that. And we miss on that sometimes because we're so focused on our children, but we come back to adults. We have wellness opportunities, many other opportunities that I work with the associations to create, and we'll continue to do that work. Facilities, finance, and infrastructure, where they live, what we fund, technology, infrastructure, all of that's critically important to the work that we do. So Trenton Public Schools will ensure a budget that's aligned. When we budget, we talk about, is this connected to our priorities? So very important when we're doing that work. Instructional priorities connected to our district's mission, vision, and goals. So how did we get here? We had strategic goals established in 21-22. My first year here, led by myself with the priorities are created in collaboration with the board, with the input from key stakeholders. We use data, as I talked about, different sets of data to make those decisions, benchmark data, formative assessments, summative assessments, and we've agreed that we will share quarterly reports, so you can see the monthly dates on the board. So we are having our first one in November. We will have another one in late January, the turn of the semester, another one in April, and then one last one in June. And we will be talking about the same work. And so it's important to understand we're going to come and talk about this work until we're blue in the face to make sure that we get it. This is what has to be done, and if we need to pivot, we certainly will do that. So student achievement, goal 1, is where we put lots of time in professional development, technology and innovation, common language, common approach. So you can see here are the 3 areas. And as I put that large document up a few minutes ago, had I gone to student achievement, it would have had these 3 goals. And these, I think, would rival in any district, because we want our students to be exposed to project-based learning or experiences in the building. How have we done so far? We've exposed, but this wasn't new. So we're creating, it's been around for a while. We're building common language and common approach, and that's important. Remember, we want to see this approach in 100% of our spaces. We want the experience of learning. It connects learning. Students remember. You might not remember when you made 100 on a paper, but you remember a project that you made 100 on a paper. It makes a difference when you collaborate with your team, when you're connected to something and you present as a team. It increases presentation skills. It provides students confidence. So this is not anything new, been around. We've saw great work walking into Trenton, and we continue to see great work, and we want to see that throughout every school on a regular basis. It's also integrated in the curriculum. As we write, we want more project-based learning opportunities included so that young people have an opportunity every day or most every day to engage with their peers, to do research, and to use that technology we talked about a few minutes ago. By June of 2025, our classrooms will show evidence of delivery of high-quality instruction. I talked about that a few minutes ago. Exclusively using district-approved resources. So we want to purchase or fund what's important, and we want to see that being used. We also want to support it. We think that's important. Sometimes we miss on that, but not on purpose. We don't miss on purpose. We're excited about a resource, and we bring that forward, and we want to make sure we're always cognizant that people need support when implementing new stuff. Sometimes they can do it on their own. Sometimes they need support. Sometimes we need to learn more about the resource. So you can see some of the high-quality instructional shall include concise and intentional teacher-led instruction. We check for intent. What's my intent to stand here? Is to deliver our progress to you. We want to know that there's intention. We see that high quality around district. We want to see it more often, and again, maybe pie in the sky, but 100% of our spaces. That's what we're shooting for, and we're realistic about that also. Our professional development opportunities are centered around those strategies to deliver that. We have instructional look-fors when we go into buildings, model lessons and debriefing the sessions to reinforce priority goals, talking with staff, talking with administrators, with teachers, with everyone in this, trying to make sure that we, again, common approach, common language. And then goal 3, Trenton Public Schools will ensure K-3 teacher exposure to formative assessments to drive small group assignment and instruction by providing consistent professional learning opportunities, which will include, and you can see those there that are also written. But we have a standardized internal assessment process through Linkit, formative data analysis to inform instruction. We look at all of our data sets in JSLA and JGPA. We go down that list and we talk about where are the gaps. What learning standards seem to give our students the most struggle. And so our staff, that's been around also, but we're being more intentional. We're not assuming anything. We're just actually being intentional about making sure these things are happening. And then PLC involvement to promote data-driven instruction. We're seeing some amazing things from our staff that probably existed when we got here, but we also want to enhance those who are maybe not quite as ready to engage in those conversations, because data can be frightening. We know sometimes we see our data and we take a step back and go, oh, whew, it's a lot to absorb. But we believe that's a great opportunity to dive back in and do the work. And we're seeing that in the professional learning community setting from our teachers. Technology and innovation. By the end of June 2025, 80% of teachers across the district will begin applying the SAMAR model. It's substitution, augmentation, modification, redefinition. You can see that in some schools where students are taking the curriculum and a standard, and they're using the technology to share it back out with teachers, even their families. I've been to family nights where students are doing amazing work. And that comes from great teaching. giving students the space to succeed, the space to take risk. And we're seeing that from great teaching. And we're saying that if we can get 80% of our staff to get there, because it's a scary proposition. You get this device, you have very little time, very little training, and we're going to train you along the way, but you have to implement this. We know this won't happen overnight, but we're excited about the journey that we're on to get there. We have a new K-2 curriculum that we just adopted in the last agenda. We'll be rolling out. We'll take our time doing that with our staff. Teachers wrote the curriculum, some modified, so we're excited that they are on board with that in the K-2 setting, and we'll be working through the 3-9 setting curriculum, and then ultimately at some point through 9-12. Innovation lab furniture, we believe we're turning our spaces into innovation creation spaces. You can see that K-3, we're 90% completed. We have furniture installed or on the way, or it's here. We want our young people to have first-class environments when they go in to explore and to learn the curriculum, to put it to work. So you learn this great information, take it into a space and create. It connects the learning. And we are working to get robotics materials. We're not all the way there yet, but we have Sparrow, Legos, Dash robots, Indy robots, and IMAX stations. And those will all be in those spaces for students to come in and to innovate. Innovation is key in this process. We had five 3-day sessions this summer for iPad Basics, Mac Basics, equitable across with access with iPads, and the Avid digital notebooks. So we spent some time this summer for teachers who wanted to come in and just learn that. And we had pretty good participation around that. By June of 2025, Trenton Public Schools will transform former computer classes into fully equipped technology and innovation labs. Kind of the same theory and thinking. SAMAR is different, but the innovation labs, when you walk into spaces, and we're creating some really neat spaces that I'd love to take the board on a journey to see. When you see some of the spaces where our kids are learning, we're painting them new furniture, appropriate furniture, exciting things in the works. Goal 2, community engagement and partnerships. You can see we want to expand community schools. We're working with, I'm in a tri-group partnership with Ewing and Hamilton, where we're talking about how to go out and solicit funding large scale to bring this community school model more into our district. We have 3 schools that are partners with Mercer Street Friends that are true community schools. When you know the model, you know the work it takes, and does the partner have the bandwidth to service a school community? So we're doing that kind of work now to really invest. What is a community school? What does it mean? What do you, are you going to offer space and partner with the person in partnership to make sure you give them access to families and children? So we have a partnership with Henry J. Austin, who works directly with our health service department to provide health services to students through the district. And then you can see we have partnerships with Mercer Street Friends, the YMCA, Mercer County Community College and the dual enrollment, TCNJ, Children's Home Society, the Trenton Literacy Movement. The partners goes on and on and on. But to build those partnerships and become a true community school is the work that I'm doing. I'm also partnered with about 30 to 40 partners. You can see on the bottom, we talk about how to be a partner in district, what it means to be fingerprinted. If you want to partner with us, what we're expecting from you, what are the expectations from the district if you're going to be a partner? So we're doing that work. We're developing an application process so anyone who wants to be a partner with us can apply, and we have a process by which we'll follow to give you feedback as to whether you can be a partner or not. So it's been critical, and we've been meeting we're in our 2nd year of this work, And it's really nice to see the people continue to come out. And that was an area that Dr. Rodriguez was facilitating. So when he left, I got many calls to say, are we still meeting? So we have tons of partners who want to be in our space. We've expanded our Parent Connect series. We work closely with Catholic Charities and Child Win. There are many Parent Connect type activities that I hope to bring in the next session to share with you. Here are some of the things. I know we were just talking recently about helping parents understand how to help their children in some of these really difficult spaces that they end up in. And we've had several sessions this year in our schools around those topics. We have monthly FACE committee meetings with our school leadership team and talking with the Board of Education and partners out in the community about how we connect better with the community. And we also have some implemented this year, this is our third year, but the first full year for all 25 schools, the New Jersey Sky Parent Survey. Those results are available. We've worked, they're late fall, so they're here. Schools have them. We will be sharing some of that information. We interviewed or surveyed parents, students, and staff regarding how they feel about their environments. And feedback from those surveys shared with principals and the staff and the team gives them some opportunity to work on anything that might be plaguing their culture, that might be interrupting learning. So we learned a lot through that process, but very excited to continue that. And so we're hoping each school will select 2 or 3 things that they'll work on throughout the year, but it gives them an opportunity to hear what parents have to say, what staff have to say about their environment, and what students have to say. Communication, we are in the process of redesigning the logo. We were trying to do that last year. We're going to work with a vendor who will take us through a process, probably getting input from people in this audience along with board members about what we want to see in a logo. We have a district logo, but we need a primary source logo, and I can explain that to you if you want to stop me, and I can share it with you so that it's easier to transfer and to use in different platforms. But exciting. We may come up with the same thing, but we have to take some of the layovers off the logo. But we're going to go through a process looking at, similar to that logo right behind your heads, do we want any parts of the city logo on the district logo? And so I was able to see that at New Jersey School Boards a year ago and found that they went through our process for about a year. So we're really excited, and we're beginning now working with the vendor. So you'll start to see that soon. We've always and will continue to work with our staff around how to communicate through the website and social media. We want to promote the district regularly, and I know the board is always coming to me about, let's get this out there, let's get this. So we have a really robust plan, and we're looking at we believe that writing all the time may not always get the attention of people, so we're looking at doing some videos. So you're going to see one from yours truly soon. So if you've seen me enough, don't watch it. But if you want an opportunity to hear some of what we're doing, you'll likely see a number of us. That's including staff and students who can share their experiences on video so that people in the community can see us. Implemented communications student internship. We started that last year, had mild success, very mild success. And I just shared with our director of communications, our communications officer, not to give up on that. We have very bright young people. We have TV studios in both locations. We need to tap into that resource, so we will continue that process. And so we're in the middle of doing that too. Developing the whole child. You saw the long list I shared with you a few minutes ago, but I've talked about New Jersey Sky, which is in the middle around goal 3. We administered that survey and have the results. You can see that what's impressive about this is 100%. So is that lofty? You bet. Is it expected? You bet. When you read them, 100% of Trenton Public Schools will continue to build teacher capacity and trauma-informed practices. We're in the 4th year of that work. We don't plan to stop. It just is a goal. We have to understand where our young people are coming from, which also helps us focus on adults, because we need to know where they're coming from in this work too. So we will continue to do that work. That hasn't changed from the first day I walked in. 100% of Trenton Public Schools will extend trauma-informed care practice to include families of schools to provide evening parent workshops. I talked about that a few minutes ago. We're already in that, working with parents, helping them understand trauma that they may face, but really understanding their child when they present something, an issue at home, how they might be able to manage it. We've done the survey, and then we are going to develop HOPE teams, healthy outcomes for positive experiences. So securement of HOPE teams in every school, that's already happening. So many of these things are underway. We will evaluate them and be sharing a bit more detail as we get on the other side. But the detail about some of this, dates and times and what's happening, is well included in the large document on the website. Staff development and well-being, feel like we've made great strides here and great strides to go. We want to continue to align our PD to the strategic goals, which we do. We want to continue to collaborate with our associations and our staff. I just heard from someone 2 weekends ago that the PD is not connected to what I need, and I think she thought I was going to push back, and I said, I need to meet with you. I just need to know what that means, because as we plan, the professional development's not for me. And so I want to make sure that we're listening, but that we're listening to goals, but then listening to the needs of our staff, whoever they are, counselor, teacher, custodian, whoever they represent in our district. We want to make sure that we are listening to the needs around professional development. Continuation of monthly PD offerings, we're already in that process. And to date, we've received 659 responses to district PD opportunities, so district-wide PD. So that gives us data, and we learn a lot about what we're doing. We learn what's not working, what is working, so those responses, and we hope that number goes way up over time as we continue to work together. Increase in professional development sessions led by district staff members. That means call for presenters. Mrs. Grant leads this effort. She started that work last year, reaching out to say, does anyone, and we receive a number of staff members of all different positions who want to present something in their area, which has been a real treat, and their colleagues join. And I was able to do woodworking one day, and I don't know if that was in there, but I'm a woodworker by nature, so if you want to get my attention, bring a saw, a drill, and wood in the building, and I'm good to go. So it's really neat to see some of the amazing offerings coming through that process of asking our staff. By June of 2025, NJ Well is a program where we want everyone to get well. You see some of our people who weight-wise seem to be getting well, but if you enter this program, we have an opportunity for compensation or awards if we get enough people in. But not only that, the individual does, but the real benefit is that you get healthy. So this program, and I can go deeper about this, I think there's a lot more information about it. You can share, you can get well, but you can also get some benefit through points and compensation. So, and then there's some competition around the district through this process, where teams are saying we're going to achieve or accomplish something. So it builds a sense of community too. So that's very exciting. And we will hold care teams, chronically absent response and engagement team meetings for all students identified as chronically absent. That's been just a staple of our work. It's just like trauma-informed care. It will be around long after I leave. We are seeing some progress in that area. Some we're proud of because students are coming, but it's because we're connecting the whole family. That's when you reach out to say, so talk to me about why he or she or child are not getting to school. What's going on? And we've shared some of the data around kindergarten being the highest number of absent students, and we know that kindergartners don't drive, they don't wake themselves up, they don't do any of that. So how do we start working with families to get our young people to school? And if you've heard Ms. Grant say, come to school, can you repeat that, Mrs. Grant? Every day, on time, every day, on time. That's our tagline. We need students at school. So doing amazing work around that. And we got a pretty robust team, I would say, that rivals anyone in the state. We we fund what matters. That's a priority, so we fund it with 8 attendance officers, 3 attendance managers who knock on doors, who call and pull people into this process so we can get data about why you're really not coming to school. It's not always transportation, which we thought it would be in this district. It wasn't number one. There were many, and transportation is a factor. There were many other factors in a family, as we probably should have known. Finance, facilities, and infrastructure, the Office of the Business Administrator, Buildings and Grounds and Human Resources. So district-wide interior lighting upgrades, completed task November of 2024. That's complete. We're complete 15% from July to October. In progress, currently 50% of our schools are completed, not completed yet. I said completed earlier. And we'll have the remaining 33% of our schools completed by June of 2025. So really exciting. And when you come into a lighted space, it wakes the room up. It's exciting to be in this space. I know this space has light, has new wall, new technology. It looks different, and it gives it a different feel. And we think that'll be beneficial to staff and students. Installation of air conditioning, and in all large gathering and auxiliary spaces. The equipment is ordered. We're waiting for shipment to arrive. In progress. Currently 25% of our schools are completed. We're completing 4 schools each year for large spaces, large gathering and auxiliary spaces. Our schools have air conditioning. We do have some work to do to make sure that it works on the hot days. So we're working on that, and that's defeating when you put all this into it and it doesn't work. So we're staying on top of that to make sure that when the hot days come back around, we're in cool spaces. Approved certifications of the fire inspectors. 95% of the administration building will be completed by 2025, but 100% of the schools are done. Improving maintenance and grooming of grounds. That's ongoing, and I also am a groundskeeper at my own house. So I noticed the grounds, and that's one of the areas where I've worked with the team to place emphasis. And if we need more staff to get our schools up to date, make sure we don't have weeds and it looks like it's open. And I know that I get calls and emails from many of you, so I appreciate that. Demolition of the existing Ziegler building, warehouse building, in progress. November 20, the project is out to bid. The award date will be on the December agenda. So we're hoping to get that done very soon. Finance, ensure that the budget is aligned to instructional priorities as well as support for school needs, student-specific needs, and adequately supports district mission, vision, and goals. In progress, conversations on non-negotiables. We've already started that process. What are the things that we will absolutely do and not negotiate? And then what are the negotiating points in a budget? We've done this for many years. The process started in October with conversations. We have another big meeting in December. By March, we will know. We meet with every school to talk about priorities. They include their school leadership teams and what they need. So it's a very engaging and collaborative process, and we'll continue to do so. Obtain an increased rate by the Bank of America We are looking forward to that by December of 2024. So go business office. We want to set up parameters to have the ability to automate charter school and preschool checks. That's authorization to be placed on the November 18th agenda. That's on tonight, and test payment to charter schools on December 9th. So we're already there. So some of the things that we have put in place, like in other areas, they're underway. We're excited to see what mid-year looks like in some of these areas. Human resources, there's so many areas to tackle in human resources, but we want to improve the workman's compensation claim experience. And you can see some of the areas, applicable PD offerings, relevant staff, coordinate the NJSIG to provide PD and secure procedure for nurses. There's so many things connected to that, because when somebody's out with a workman's comp issue, we want the experience to be seamless, and that hasn't always been the case, but we're working to get there. Want the district-wide 1094C and 1095C dependent verification and dependent accuracy and human resources system and EDGMENT. We've sent the email out, and dependent verification, we've received 1,905 responses from employees to date. So we're moving in that direction well. And you can see, I think this is a repeat, I'm sorry, of the charter schools. I have that in the wrong place, in the preschool provider, so I missed that. That should have been an NJ Smart. That's a human, no, that is human resources, around NJ Smart and SMID. So I missed, and I think I moved it over to the wrong slide. But expand human resources recruiting efforts. We've had many hiring events from August to November, and then professional development for 58 attended professionals on 10/23/24. So a lot of stuff happening. You might have a million questions, and I have people here that can go deeper than I can. And this was a 51-page document that I thought I could get done in 20 minutes, but I don't know how successful that was. But a lot of information. The goal here is just to say that we believe in continuing to make progress, and we understand we learn from the areas we don't do well in. Our job is to do better building relationships. That's my number one goal. Build relationships here so that we can get teams of people to move initiatives in this district. So I'll continue to do that work, and I'll work with our team to do so. Any questions?
Yes, I have a
Yes.
statement. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, young man.
Let's do something. I'm sorry. All right, so we'll start from here and we'll go down, okay?
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you, Superintendent. Really helpful presentation, a lot of great stuff in it. I just got one question. It was around the internships, and I wanted to, and you know, you was talking about the mild successes, and I was just trying to figure out, like, in what areas are the room for improvement? Is it more collaboration with community partners? Is it like trying to connect kids with direct job opportunities that could be internships?
So we were talking about internships we're offering communications internships with our communications officer.
Okay.
We have young people who are in our buildings who want to be in communications. They're actually in TV studios. They make news reports. They're going to be communications people, and we're saying, work with us. And we did have some to create some of the stories, and some of the information you received in your newsletters came from students. They wrote those articles. They were able to get some of those images and share. So we want to create that pipeline of young people who want to go in communication. So we didn't get as many. When I say mild success, we got some, and we were able to get some writing, but they have a life, right? And so we're trying to figure out better ways to engage them, maybe around big events instead of more often, but we gave them kind of the floor, so we're pivoting to see how we can do that better.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thanks for the presentation, Super. My questions generally revolve, and I'll try to keep it brief, especially since we brought you in and, pretty much told you how high to jump with our strategic goals, right, as they existed. Moving forward, because we'll be in the process of, formulating new strategic goals.
Yeah.
Are there any areas that, either we're currently doing or that you will recommend that we start implementing, and just, any recommendations for our next round of strategic goals?
I would make recommendations. I think some of the work we are doing is tremendous. What I've found is the more we collaborate with each other and engage more people in this process, which I know we're going to do, we'll come up with those things. What I did was took something that was already done as the leader and said, how do we implement this with the team here and people out in our schools? And how do we do this and do it well? So working from behind, I have the unique opportunity to come at it having done it, seeing the things that worked, potentially didn't work, and say to the team of people in this, the 3,000 team members, what do you want to see? What does a board want to see? What do we want for the children in Trenton? So I think that what you'll find is much of what you see here, the high quality stuff, we're going to continue to do. It's not changing. And then some of those things that we question, if we've had those times where we had conflict over an implementation, let's look at that and see if it's the right direction. Is it the right direction for staff? Sometimes I want to move in a direction and I don't want to negotiate that. So it'll be an opportunity for me to listen to our teams to say, so this might be an easier path to get things done. At the end of all of this is the student. We are here to make sure that students have the best experience in our spaces, wherever they are. And so if we keep that in mind, when we reach consensus, which means we don't get everything we want, and I'll be the first to admit that I know that as we plan this, we have to reach consensus on how we move. But I think it's better communicated from the whole instead of the part. And so I would wait, and if you'll give me time, I'll be able to come back and say, here's what came from the district.
All right. And kind of going along with that last part, I guess serving the district and, some of the work that we're going to be doing. Are there any challenges that you would expect to see in the upcoming Trump administration, right? Anything that will affect the DOE?
So not speaking politically, what I would do is say that we'll always stay focused on our children. We know that before the election, there were some decisions made in the state of New Jersey, one around the FAFSA process. And we are very concerned about what that means for our young people in this new arena. And without being political, because that's not my work or my goal, I'm not smart enough to be a politician, I want to make sure that I can speak to the needs of those young people who have to complete the FAFSA process and what that means if they don't. We don't want targets on our young people's back. We want them to know it's safe to come to school, because we're hearing that young people might be afraid because they've watched too much television about what's going on, and rightly so. So I'm not sure what an administration will do. I'm not sure, I know the comments out there, but what we are doing, and you've been with me a few times, and will be, so we didn't start this conversation tonight. I've been in probably 20 to 30 meetings months prior to this thinking about the what if. And we've had multiple meetings about what if scenarios. If this happens, how do we pivot? How do we protect our young people? How do we make sure this is a safe space? And we're concerned because as we make this pitch around community engagement and partnerships, will our families continue to join us? Or is there something that may make them fearful about coming into our space? So we have to be critically aware of the individuals that we serve, the families we serve, and make decisions around that. So without speaking about politics, everything we do focuses on the students, their families, our staff, us first. So we're going to do that, and we're going to talk about what it means to be legally safe, because as things come our way, we can't break the law and we can't break policy around some of these things. So we have no idea. It's hard to gauge, but it's better to have awareness about the if-then scenarios, because there's a document that you can either read or get information on about potential changes. And so we've been there about potential changes, because if some of the changes happen and enrollment goes down, that means funding goes down. That means follow that line of thinking. If enrollment dips, funding dips, what does that mean for all of these, the programming, the personnel resources we put in to support kids? I talked about that great attendance structure. What does it mean for some of those things? What does it mean for me? You know, we have to think like that and be critically aware as we move out of a year or through a year. How do we make sure that we're kind of ready, you know, teetering on if this decision's made, we're ready to pivot. So.
Yeah, thank you for addressing that. Like you've highlighted, we've been in some of these rooms, and I know, you know, you've knocked out the park talking about some of those what-if situations. And as you highlighted, you know, just completely apolitical, just the things that have been put out there, the messages that have been put out there, just thinking through what these policy decisions, administrative decisions will mean for us specifically as a district. So thank you for answering.
We are doing that work already.
So I'm not sure if we actually had envisioned this moment 4 years ago when we started our strategic plan, but I am so pleased that we are at this point now. I just love to hear how you communicate and share our district's strategic plan and the implementation of that plan. NRB in our 4th year, and I'm delighted. I'm happy that we are at this point now. And the reason why is because earlier this year in our strategic planning with our board, we decided as a community board, as part of our community, to have 4 presentations a year. That came out of that strategic conversation.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I gleaned from this conversation today is that this is not going to be the last time that we're going to have an opportunity for us and our community to come together. And so what I would suggest and recommend is that we all take notes, we all read the document, we all take notes from that document, jot down questions that you might have. There's a lot of information that we have to digest and unpack. And you've done a wonderful job of that tonight. And so I commend you for all the work that you're doing in our district and your presentation tonight. But my message, not only to myself and to my colleagues, but also to the community, is to digest the data, digest the information, jot down questions, put a Post-it note on the presentation, so you'll be able to come back and be able to ask questions to your leadership team and yourself, and potentially, as you mentioned, a community conversation we're going to have sometime this fall. An opportunity for folks to really engage with us around this great work, to dig deeper into the work so they can have a better understanding of where we're going, where we've been, and where we're going. So I just really thank you so much for
Thank you.
that work.
Appreciate it.
Work that you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
I didn't have any specific questions, but I know that in our family community engagement committee meetings, we've had conversations about this presentation stemming off of the strategic initiative that the board had with 4 conversations a year. And again, I'm so delighted and happy that we're at this point now. And I'm looking forward to the 3 additional presentations you're going to have throughout this year to share with our community and share with us. And I've invited half a dozen folks or a dozen folks to come out and hear your presentation. So I don't see them here tonight, but I'm going to continue to press and continue to invite folks to come out and hear about the great work that we're doing, and to have conversations around that work, and to ask questions that may be difficult sometimes, but we need to be able to answer those questions and engage with our community. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Just want to make sure I'm clear. You know, I talk about this and I know you know this, but the people who sit behind me on both sides, they do the work. So I'm just the person standing there working with them. I dig in where I need to, but we've got a tremendous group of people in this district who've always been here.
We now have the Spanish translation for like this meeting. One, two, will this be also linked in Spanish?
Yes.
Okay,
So I'll do
great. So
both.
we can
Yep.
have at least our Spanish-speaking parents and Creole, I would assume. Okay, great. Jeannie?
No, my turn. I have a question.
Sure.
Under the technology and innovation, you state that robotics materials, Fiero Legos, Dash Robots, and Indy Robots and IMAX have been delivered to each innovation computer. It's on. Yes, it is. Computer classroom. Is this in, what grade levels are these in? And are they in all the schools?
So I don't know that they're in all schools. The intent, though, is for them to be in all schools. They're ordered. And in some cases, with the implementation, some may have been delivered and some may not. I learned from one school today that they may not have theirs. But when we come back in the second one, we'll have demonstrations, as Yolanda talked about. But the goal is to have all of this in every school.
And train teachers to operate it
Correct.
and implement the programs?
Well,
Okay.
students will likely, and teachers will do a really good job of training, but I learned from kids.
Yeah.
The 5-year-old that showed me how to bring up the legend on the screen that day, and I was lost. But yeah, the goal is to have all of those things in every school.
Okay. And my next question goes to the trauma program.
Yep.
We all know about trauma. We all know about recognizing trauma. Are we doing anything to release that trauma, bringing in programs that teach people how to get rid of it? Because if you don't get rid of it, it's still in you as a physical thing.
Yeah, I don't know that. I think a part of that work is when you recognize, at the very least, and as a young person, you know, of trauma myself, I think I held on to all of it until I learned that it was something that I needed to address. And so we're teaching young people now, and I think the next phase of this, and maybe Dr. Conway can go deeper about this, but releasing that trauma is the next phase of work. We're just in understanding the trauma when they
Right.
get there. So you can at least ask the question, what happened to you? Why are you in that space? Even to adults, talk to me,
Oh, yeah.
share with me.
Yeah.
And then the work happens after that, maybe counseling, maybe therapy. That's when some of those, and we have calming corners in all of our buildings, or reset spaces in every building. That's some of the release. You know, you figure out what triggers you, you go to a space, you take the appropriate amount of time, and you've released it some. And what you're teaching yourself is at 10 years old that you'll be managing this at 20. And those are things that we've learned from research and that we're implementing in school. So it's not always a thing, it's those things. It's identifying it first, but also having spaces where students have an outlet. And with a family, you're working with multiple people because you got to get everyone to, I guess, identify what it is that's creating gaps in moving forward and try to see what you can do to address that, because everyone's is a little different. And so managing that is the most, it's probably threading the needle. So how do you make sure that a young person understands their trauma, or a person my age, and then how do you treat them to release it? That is the most difficult part of this work. And we're 4 years in, that'll take 40 more likely. So as long as it takes you to get there sometimes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
No, I don't have a question, just a comment. Certainly appreciate sharing with the public in terms of where we are relative to our progress around these goals, because we have these discussions amongst the board. So again, I just want to applaud you and say thank you for sharing out so the public is aware that this actually takes place, and then letting them hear where we are in terms of moving forward around those goals and where we look to go, and why do the goals stay basically the same? they
Yeah.
stay basically the same because we have to continue working and going deeper, as you said. So just want to make that comment.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think I have two. You mentioned about the establishment of the strategic plan being in place when you got here. So I think that when you get to where we are now and the feedback from all of that work, because the community and the administrators and teachers also part of that work, to see progress is a really good thing when you think about how long you've been here. So that I'm grateful, kind of like Gerald is, that you see it materializing. And then this is I think what pains me sometimes is to hear how people put down parents and that they should know. And when you have young people having babies at a young age, how can they know unless they're being taught? And so I just commend the work around the parenting and the support of the parenting, those different activities that help parents to be better parents, right? Because you only know what you know. How many parents were surveyed? You mentioned at some point that there were.
So, yeah, we have that number, and without the data, I have that data that I can send to you.
Okay, if you
and
could.
we can post it. We have the exact number of parents, the exact number of students, and the exact number of staff members by percentage. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, 20 schools were able to hit our 25% mark.
Oh, okay.
So we had good numbers and got really good feedback. I don't know if I'm close on that. So you want to?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
3,000.
Nice. Very nice.
So,
Yeah.
and we had some contests, where not real contests, but we called some spaces out, and some principals did some, and their teams, their teachers and their staff and counselors did some really good work to get in first. So who was first, Dr. Conway? Jefferson School was first.
Great.
Who was second? The top three. Dunn School, and third, Robbins School. So,
Okay, nice.
So they did tremendous work getting
that's
parents to
nice.
give feedback, and it's not just a quick survey either. So it takes a little bit of work. So
That's
we
what
were
I
able to
thought. And then there was two more that just came to me. I knew I was going to forget. I remembered them all if I would have went first, but the old age
Y'all
thing,
made
right?
it go last.
So as we were thinking about student achievement, what it looked like on the screen is the work, it appears the work you've talked about of creating the environments by which our students perform better on assessments, right? And so that formative assessment thing, and so when they go through the experience, they're already ready. Do those technology spaces that you're creating help that? Because, does it help with creating a testing environment so that the children, when it comes time to take these standardized tests, feel more comfortable? Because our children are bright. I always froze up as a child when it was time to take those tests and knew the stuff, but it's just like my brain froze up. And so does that help? Like those,
so I believe, because I think it enhances the critical, I don't know, when they're working together, and you have to, so we're saying take that technology and bring that content to life.
Right.
That's very different than having the content where you get it from the instructor, you work closely together, and even if you get an A on it and the teacher is terrific, it is different when you take it and you spend time with two of your peers and you say, here's an issue. And I remember in the summer, so you may have to correct me, our kids I walked into spaces where they were drawing maps to their homes, right? Sounds simple, right? But you think you'll remember how to get your home if you draw a map, or if you look at it here, or if you never have a chance to do that and just talk about maps.
Right.
So they drew a map, and there were some things we put on a table over here that were clear examples of PBL, the project-based learning opportunity, technology included. I don't believe in all the technology, I believe in it when it makes you learn.
Okay.
And I tell you who all uses it, all of you and every adult back here. So why turn it off for the people? Now, screen time can be dangerous, so we have to think about that too.
Right.
But the young people need those opportunities. I absolutely believe it enhances learning. And it makes it stick sometimes, because you can go places
Right.
with a device that you can't necessarily go in a classroom sometimes.
Right.
And we need to do that appropriate, because AI is right in our faces. We want to make sure our students have accurate and factual information and all those things. So, yeah, I think there's spaces for it. And there are times where just hardcore, down-to-earth teaching and working with kids, getting on the floor, what we see many of our people do, and getting on boards and writing and talking and collaborating, that's just as good too.
Yeah, because I'm not a fan of standardized tests. Is only one.
Just
I
a
am.
measure. So.
I'm the one. And so anyway, anything that's done to help the stickiness for the children. Okay, thank you.
I think just the last thing to add is just, when we think about, I came in 21, 22, it seems like forever ago, but when I walked in here, I would charge everyone who is in our organization to just look at when you started and who we serve now. It's different. The challenge is different, and we need to respond to it. Sometimes that's difficult to respond to because we're humans. We want to do what we've always done. And I'm just saying we cannot do that. We can't stay where we were. We must move. We have to move. And for the young people and for the people in our district.
Thank you.
So, all right. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Earl. I also want to thank again your administration, the administrators, building administrators, and the teachers, because we know that this work cannot be done without their collaboration. So thank you, and thank you to everyone else that is here tonight that has helped to bring this together. Before we go on, you said, let's get this out there, right? A little while ago?
Let's get what out there.
Whatever it was that you were talking about, but right now,
Okay.
I just wanted to remind you, will you be speaking to us about the Citizens Academy? And just to let people know, one of the trainings that we had, I think it was late June or July, centered on communicating with our stakeholders about transparency. And I think that ever since I came on board, that was one of the major problems that we were having. And I would like to think that we've improved, but I know that there's much room for more improvement. And so while we were talking, during that training, we kind of brainstormed and thought about Citizens Academies. So I'm going to let Superintendent take it from there.
All right. So the Citizens Academy is an opportunity for those who want to learn about board operations, district operations, goal setting, and those things. Because I think we want to make sure that our community, they don't think we operate in a vacuum. I think that comes across sometimes because we have to make quick decisions and decisions from the top. But we want to give anyone interested, community members, staff members, an opportunity to be a part of the Citizens Academy. And what do? We talk about and teach about, and we go through the structure of budgeting. We go through the structure of why and how we use data to select a curricular resource. We want to take you through and not those two particular, but those two come to mind, but why we do the work that we do for chronic absenteeism. So anyone interested in learning about the work that's done at the board level or even at the district level would be invited to several sessions about different things, able to be a partner because you do the work that we do and learn, but we would share information, maybe have guest speakers and experts around areas that might be of interest to you. But we wanted to make sure that we build the capacity of everyone in our district to be able to share about what we're doing in the district for families and for children and for adults too.
So just as an FYI, when we speak about Citizens Academy, normally they are programs that are offered by local municipalities and or their police departments. I know the state police also offers them. And the goals for having a Citizens Academy is, one, to create better and informed and engaged stakeholders. We want to be able to increase communication between the sitting officials, in this case it would be the sitting board and superintendent, with our stakeholders, with the goal of building a better community involvement and interaction. We want to familiarize the public with the roles, with the services, and the operations that comprise the Trenton Board of Education. So as Superintendent was saying, we're looking forward to educating the public on how we create the budget. When we talk about special education, what are the statutes out there? What are our responsibilities? Just so many things. The other thing is that normally they take about 3 months. The Citizens Academy is a 3-month program, and it's 3 hours per week. So we are hoping to roll this out by end of January, beginning of February sometime. And then one of the last goals that we have for our Citizens Academy is that maybe, just maybe, some of our stakeholders will be inspired to run for school board. Once they understand how it is that a school board works and they see the work that needs to be done, we would love to have some of the candidates or some of the graduates of the academy run for the board in the future. And the other thing is that, you know, one of the main purposes is that they become ambassadors of goodwill, helping bridge the relationships that the board ought to have with the stakeholders, and, you know, with the citizen, the parents, and vice versa. So I'm really excited. I can't wait to have you present the curriculum, and I hope that everyone here will be open to attending the academy. We are hoping to do by invite for the first cohort of groups, and let's see what comes of it. Okay. So, moving on, yes. No, not yet, yeah, yeah. Questions on the agenda? No, on the Citizens Academy. Oh, okay, if you could ask any question right now then. Oh. Yeah.
So who would manage the activities of this group? Like, who oversees, who has the authority over the group?
Our superintendent? Yeah, that's what I'm saying, we kind of brainstormed it from that training, but we tell him the what, and he does the who.
Right.
Let's see. We tell him the what, and he'll do the how.
Okay. So would we receive information about how this training will be rolled out before the actual cohort comes in? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so as I was saying, moving on, we will now hear from our board committee chairs, and this time I'll begin with our Burgene Bowie.
You know I wasn't ready for that, right? Okay, so we met this Tuesday. I hope everyone could hear me. We reviewed the transfer secretary's report, treasurer's report, staff travel, and the list of bills, $68,882 for 10/15, 10/31, and 11/15. We also discussed the grants, and we reviewed on the agenda, if you've taken a look, AA, which is, and these both are concerned real estate, the resolution to approve an action with the old YWCA, and BB, the property, the district-owned property on Warren Street that will be used for a maternal health school. And then we spent some time, the superintendent touched on it slightly, but when you have a $500 million budget, it is a process to that budget. And so for this, and preparing for the next school year, the calendar was produced in October. The guidance was distributed to the leadership team this month. We have to work on coming December, development of enrollment projections. We'll also have our annual budget, which will be coming up in December. And then the public presentation of that audit from last school year will happen in December. And in December, there will be a purchasing freeze for general funds. In January, we will distribute instructional guidance to principals. And February is when the action really picks up. School leaders, their budgets are due by February 7th. The superintendent and leadership teams will meet with principals to present their budget the 10th through the 14th. Budget revisions will happen the 17th through the 21st. And the preliminary budget will be presented to us, the board, at the end of that. The budget submission will occur in March. There'll be a public hearing where we'll present the budget to the public in April. And so, as you can see, it's a long and arduous process. And I just want to commend one of the questions that I had during the conversations was, will the school principals have access to financial analysts, and the accountants will be working with them on building these budgets because they're very, very complex. And if we do it right, then we have less transfers during the course of the year. And then the very, very last thing is, and probably the nicest part about the work that our committee does, is talking about the donations. So we like to thank folks in advance. We have Shine and Inspire Thanksgiving baskets, $1,500 for family and community engagement. Horizon, non-perishable food for Thanksgiving baskets, $500 to family and community engagement. Arm in Arm, 25 grocery bags valued $250, family and community engagement. Jack and Jill, 40 $25 ShopRite gift cards valued at $1,000, family and community engagement. Fidelis Care, $1,000 check to family and community engagement. JFC, canned goods, vegetable oil, and rice valued at $350 to family and community engagement. Child Win, laundry detergent and toiletry items, value of $1,200 to family and community engagement. Evelyn's WellPoint, $1,000 check, family and community engagement. And then, Affinity Federal Credit Union, Electrolux, 4.4 cubic feet stack washing, an electric dryer laundry tower for $1,798 to Trenton Central High School. And we really appreciate the sacrifice that folks make for our children. Thank you.
So, good evening. The Curriculum Committee actually met on Tuesday, November the 19th to review proposals, resolutions, and travel requests. And those particular items were discussed by the board at that time. Some of the items of note that were looked at continuation of the Seal of Biliteracy initiatives, support for advanced placement courses, textbook updates for social studies, including financial literacy, continued support for the arts, and a pilot of social studies core curriculum and materials. We noted also continued support for building gifted and talented programming, inclusive of training for teachers. We also noted an effort to do podcasting by the students at Grant School and opportunities to support high school students so that they can gain a Black Seal license that they can use for employment later on. We also had some updates from the Special Education Department, and those updates involved Thanksgiving celebrations that were being held, highlights from child study team meetings, breakfast celebrations for parents and community. We also talked about the pre-K disabled classroom visitation and some highlights. We also talked about some challenges that are being had in terms of staffing and the efforts and the plans to address those challenges related to services being provided to our special needs students. That is a summary of what was discussed at the curriculum committee meeting. Thank you.
The Facilities Committee did not meet this month due to illness.
Yes, so the Parent and Community Engagement Committee did not meet this month, but over the last several months, started beginning of this year, the presentation tonight was one of the main topics that we discussed around our strategic plan and getting things out to our community and to our board. Also looking forward to going out into the community and sharing this work with our community members and getting their input on implementation of our strategic plan with the superintendent and his team around that work that's being done. It is a deep dive into the information, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions and comments from our community about the work that's being done, and maybe even some recommendations for us to either do better or make some considerations for us as a district. One of the things also we talked about is our Parent Connect series. So if anyone wants to connect with our parents, which is so very important, please visit our website, also our social media channels to get information on our Parent Connect series. We have one coming up, I believe, on December the 5th in a couple of schools, all around helping and supporting parents. One of the workshops is on Parent Empowerment series, has an overview. One of them is on Healing Heart series, Building Your Child's Emotional Backpack. A workshop and educates parents on how stress impacts the brain, body, and child development. So some really good information that our parents need to connect with, and this is an ongoing effort throughout the winter and into the spring season. So I encourage everyone to participate in those series. One of the other things I wanted to share is that we have 2 holiday drives, one for Thanksgiving, one for Christmas. And so there's opportunities for our community to give to those who are less fortunate, as well as our board members. So I encourage you to reach out to Family and Community Engagement Department about information around how you can give for our 2 holiday drives, one for Thanksgiving, one for Christmas. Then I also was able to attend the 3rd annual Men's Night and Dinner in partnership with the Trenton Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated at Dr. Crosby Copeland Jr. Elementary School. Some great speakers there. This is their 3rd year they've done this. Austin Edwards was with me on that particular evening, and we had a great time with parents, with the students, and with the community partners who were there. So I would encourage everyone to continue to participate in our school district and really work hard to support our parents, support our students, as well as our teachers and our administrators. So thank you so much. On policy, we have policies on the board agenda tonight for the board to review as a first reading. Second reading will be in December. And I want to alert the board to look forward to additional policies throughout this year. We have a lot of work to be done, or continue to be done, over the course of this year. So you'll have policies every single board meeting to review for a second reading. So we'll go through probably about 3 cycles of board policy and updates over the next year, starting in January. But tonight we'll have on the first reading tonight, December 2nd reading, then January 1st reading, and so forth and so on, to get our policies continued to be updated. So thank you.
You need to say the truth and say that the policy is something continuous. We will never
Yeah,
stop.
Never stop.
We will never catch up.
All the time.
Every time we think we've caught up with the updates, new updates can come in. So that is a lot of work on the policy committee.
For the HR committee, pretty much the only update was specifically the executive director position, but I believe the superintendent highlighted the executive director position and the expectations that will come with it. Everything else from the HR committee, it was about the same. I know we met this past Wednesday to discuss the personnel. So, thank you.
Okay, in response to public participation from our last board meeting on October 14, 2024, we had Krista Gargano, Ronette Bronham, Dr. John Gingdom, Catherine Graff, Talithia Duncan, all addressed the board with concerns in reference to the dual language instruction framework. In response to them and to those concerns, the superintendent has and will continue to meet with teachers and the union regarding their concerns with the program, and also administration is presently working to collaborate and find more ways to provide support. We also had Lori Slarney address the board with concerns about safety and security. She said that the district must have more security presence as it can relieve some of the students' stress, which will allow them to focus more on their studies. She did mention that staff and students do not feel safe. She said work orders were submitted for broken locks and door handles. However, they have not been processed. She asked that the district answer why there are no funds to protect students and teachers. The response, administration is currently meeting with all schools to address safety and security concerns. And moving on to public comments today, the Trenton Public School District welcomes the attendance and comments from all members of the public at its meetings. This public comment period is your time to be heard on any school or school district issue that a member of the public may feel is of concern to the residents of the school district. Each person who signed up will have 5 minutes for commenting. You will be notified when your 5 minutes are up. You cannot yield your time to another person. When it is your turn to speak, please address all of your comments to the board president. We ask that you please conduct yourself in a respectful and courteous manner. For anyone whose comments or actions either harass, intimidate, or threaten the safety of any person, we will provide you with a warning or immediately end your comment time. Also, if you curse, use vulgar language, or make personal attacks, we will provide you with a warning or end your comment time. Comments that adhere to these guidelines will not be interrupted. If you have any questions, please ask your questions during your 5-minute comment period. After the public comment period is closed, the board superintendent or designee will address your questions to the extent provided by the law. We also ask that members of the public not interrupt the speaker during their public comment time. First up, if we may have Kara Melvin come up. Kara Melvin. Shagaima Bazil. Shagaima Bazil. Sandra Marine. I'm sorry, can you hold on 1 second? Yeah. There's a all right, good. Thank you. Good.
So on September 19, his 101 showed up, which made me very happy because it was sooner than what happened the previous year. On October 4th, after 11 days of his 101 being there, I lost the 101 due to the fact that his IEP had been rewritten according to last year's evaluation, and we had changed it to a 1 to 3 or less to give him more space to be more individual. I've been calling regarding his 101 since that day, and his class is a class that has 27 students, which I just learned today that dropped to 25th. 8 of those students are special ed. He's in an inclusion classroom. I have sent many emails to Keisha Advent. I spoke with the principal, Ms. Santiago, who has also sent many emails, and I have seen them myself because she showed me from her computer. I spoke with his previous caseworker, Ms. Tammy Hubbs, who gave me the information for his current IEP, as well as telling me that the new caseworker is Elizabeth Fausti. I left multiple messages for her, but I'm still waiting for their answer. This morning, I was surprised with a phone call from Dr. Conway, who I thank you very much for your call. And he told me that someone was gonna get back with me before 12 o'clock today. So I did receive that phone call from Abdel Gutierrez, and he asked me to give him a few days so that he can figure out if he can get a share aid. After reviewing my son's IEP, I have found that a share aid is not enough. The failure to provide the services outlined by his IEP are a violation to his IEP. My son comes home frustrated many days, and sometimes all I have to do is look at his face and he starts crying. I was very pleased with the teacher because she called me last week and told me, hey, guess what? Your son was talking to his iPad yesterday. And I said, talking to the iPad? He's like, yeah. He was frustrated in the classroom. He couldn't figure out how to do something, so he called the tutor during class. Because now there's apparently a new app that's provided in the iPads that give them access to a tutor. I was very happy that he found the way to get to that tutor, but it was not the proper time for him to do it. So since I have a few minutes, I'm gonna read some of his IEP modifications that were outlined. He has preferential seating closer to the classroom due to the fact that he has a vision impairment. He needs repeated directions. He needs allowed extended time for his assignments. He have information or text directions read to him due to the fact that he has issues seeing. He needs to be provided reduced modified assignments and assessment. Text-to-speech. Provide highlighted material for emphasis. Use of manipulatives and number lines. Extra time for when sharing out loud or verbal support. He needs audiobooks, help with note-taking, and his personal aide must assure his safety, as well as help him with his note-taking due to his vision impairment. Last year, I had an excellent 101 that arrived December 6th. And I am here because just like last year, quarter 1, I was here in front of all of you because his IEP was not being fulfilled. So last year, I received his IEP on December 6th. I'm hoping that maybe this year, his IEP person will show up for Christmas. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, Amanda Eli. Ely, I'm sorry.
Also, I did speak last time, and there was no response to my comments last time, so.
I'm sorry. Oh, right, I can't respond.
Okay. All right, good evening, can you hear me? Good evening, Superintendent Earl, board members, fellow educators, and community stakeholders. My name is Amanda Ely, and I have been a teacher for 10 years in the district, and I currently teach 3rd grade at Cadwalder. I'm here tonight to talk about my students who need to be screened for dyslexia. The law in New Jersey since the 2014-2015 school year says that students who show indicators of dyslexia should be screened by the first semester of 2nd grade. I want to take a minute to outline the difficulties I've had while trying to find out information for my students and parents regarding dyslexia screening. Since October 24th, I have reached out to numerous supervisors for help to find out more information on who is in charge of screening for the district and what steps I need to take. Initially, I reached out to Ms. Achapinti and then Ms. Chavanon. I heard back from Ms. Chavanon on October 31st, and she forwarded my email for guidance to Ms. Coons, Dr. Moa, and Ms. Achapinti. After not hearing back, I also emailed Mr. Gutierrez for help. The 5th email I sent was to Ms. Achapinti, Mr. Gutierrez, Dr. Moa, and Ms. Coons seeking support. Ms. Achapinti answered my email on November 21st and told me the dyslexia law was a general education initiative and she was deferring to the ELA supervisor, World Language K-6, and the Teaching and Learning Department regarding the district procedure. Then today, Ms. Coons sent me an email this afternoon to set a date and time to meet and discuss concerns and student reading behaviors. As you can tell, I've been trying for a month to get any sort of guidance that will help my students, and still I have no information. I have sent 5 emails over the course of this month, and why is it acceptable that in all that time I've only received 2 responses but still have no useful information to help my students? I have not been rude, I have not been disrespectful. I'm just simply inquiring in my emails about the process so I can help support my students. And it's interesting how there's been 0 communication pretty much for a month until the day of the board meeting when I get a response today, as did my student's parent. I have heard more than once that there are kits to screen students for dyslexia somewhere downtown. So I'm asking, will someone please help me help my students? Or will someone who knows how to do the screener teach me so I can screen my own students? I heard today that DRA is our universal screener for the district. I would urge the district to look at the updated 2024 Dyslexia Handbook for the guidelines when choosing a universal screener. While the DRA assesses some criteria, I don't think that this can be used as a standalone screening tool because it does not assess specific phonological processing skills. But if the district is saying that that is the universal screener, then I ask you, when has this information been relayed to teachers? What is a teacher's next step supposed to be if they notice indicators while administering the DRA to a student? The lack of communication via email is coming across like our district does not have a procedure. I'm very happy to meet with Ms. Coons next week, but does every teacher who has concerns about indicators of dyslexia have a meeting with Ms. Coons, the supervisor of ELA? Not all students with dyslexia need a referral to child study, so I ask, what are the steps that we have in place? The district has already taken away learning loss this year, the one and only intervention outside the classroom that was available in K-3 buildings. The only interventions a student can now receive are from their own classroom teacher. I thought the district was concerned about the massive number of referrals. If that is the case, should we have not kept the learning loss teachers? Shouldn't we be screening for dyslexia early so that with an early diagnosis we can meet the needs of struggling readers and reduce the number of our students falling behind? The research shows that if a student gets a poor start in reading, they often never catch up. Shouldn't we focus our efforts on our K-3 population to help these students be as successful as possible? What is very frustrating to me is that everyone in this district preaches about building genuine relationships, but they forget that when you genuinely care about and love your students, you have no choice but to advocate for them like they are your own. So unanswered emails, lack of support and guidance becomes very frustrating when I care very much about my students. Having people act like I have not given my best effort or implying to my students' parents today that I have somehow not done all that I can do is highly insulting, because all I've ever done is way more than my job responsibilities entail. If advocating for the needs of my students labels me as a problem in this district, then so be it. The students we serve are the only reason we have jobs to begin with. So here are my questions tonight. I am also willing to email this so that I can get answers to all my questions. 1, who is in charge of screening our students for dyslexia? 2, what is our universal screener in K-3 schools? 3, why are students not being screened by the first semester of 2nd grade? 4, can the district provide more training for teachers? 5, are there dyslexia kits downtown, and if so, can they be located? 6, can I be trained to use the kit? And 7, how long should it be appropriate to get an email response from a supervisor? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next is Michael Jones.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, I'm here in regards of my daughter, Lyric Funderburg. Earlier today, I also got a phone call from Mr. Conway. Yet, for the almost 2 weeks, when we was reaching out, trying to figure out who to talk to, we wasn't getting no responses. I've been noticed something with my daughter writing her letters and her numbers backwards. But I also know the D's and the B's, they could get confused, the 3's and the 8's, and the 6's and the 9's. So I didn't really pay no attention. Plus, they be on TikTok and all of that stuff, so I figured it was something that the kids just was doing because it wasn't just her doing it. So when I went to the teacher parents meeting last week, Miss Elliott was like, Lyric is on the same level with all the kids, with all of the stuff. It just, when she does her writing, she writes her letters backwards. And then when I ask her why, she doesn't have a reason. So she said that's when she reached out and somebody told her that was a form of dyslexia. And from so every kid don't go to preschool, so we can't just use all the kids. But once you go to kindergarten, before you get to first grade, you should be able to know how to add, subtract, read, and know your ABCs, and at least be able to count to 100. With that being said, my daughter can do all of that, except for she has a tendency to turn letters around. That don't mean she not as educated as the rest of the kids, because I could give my daughter a plain piece of paper and tell her to draw you, and you'll look at it and it'd be a cartoon figure, but you'll see your features in the picture. And she's only 8 years old. So me, I'm a hands-on parent. Like, I'm part of the PTO, all of that. So, and it just don't deal with my kids. I was taking my kid to school one day and seeing the parent there cursing out the teachers. I literally stood there because there was no male figures around in case he wanted to try something. Now, whatever the results would have been, I still would have stepped in, because why would you be doing that? So just like earlier when Mr. Conway was telling me, like he just showed me that Miss Ellie got 2 responses, but her responses weren't from the proper people, so it's like not getting a response. Then the lady, I know her last name Brown, she worked in this building. I was on the phone with her for 30 minutes when she told me in order for me to get my daughter tested, I had to write a letter. So while she was talking, I was writing the letter. And when we hung up the phone, I was in your parking lot to be told by the security that I couldn't talk to nobody till 2:30 because they was on lunch, and it was 12:45. Who gets a lunch that long? I don't know. But she could have easily just picked up the phone and called upstairs and told the lady to come downstairs. But she also wouldn't take the letter because she didn't want to be responsible. So my thing is, if the kids are supposed to be tested, it should be a statewide test that's automatically given like a SAT test. So the kids don't think they're being singled out because they have learning disabilities. Make it look like it's school participation for everybody. And then when y'all got the people who's supposed to check it, to know what's what, then you pull them out and separate them and distinguish it like that. Dude sat up here for, Mr. Early, you sat up here for almost an hour and a half, and whatever you was talking about, it had nothing to do with what got to do with my daughter. Because last year, they was taking tablets home for school. This year, because some people didn't bring their tablets back, it was X'd out. How much sense does that make? If you let my child use a tablet for a whole year, and then the next year tell them they got to use pens and paper, it don't make no sense. Why not, in the beginning of the school year, put a contract together, have the parents sign it, and if the tablet's not returned, they're responsible to pay for the tablet. Don't take and neglect another child from being able to learn. You know what I mean? My thing is, at the end of the day, y'all, this is my first time y'all seeing my face, but it won't be the last if my daughter don't get what she's supposed to get. Because my family work down at City Hall, and I try to keep them out of it and let people do what they supposed to do, because that's why they got their jobs. That's it.
Thank you. And last, Reverend Jose Rodriguez.
Good evening, Board. I just wanted to bring to your attention some concerns within our community, the Latino, specifically the Latino immigrant community. I know that Governor Murphy passed the law earlier this year requiring students 11th and 12th grade to fill out the FAFSA. Some of the concerns within our community, and I must admit I'm not well versed in the law. I did pull up the HESA application that needs to be filed, and I was reading it. Some of the concerns is that the upcoming administration has been threatening to deport a lot of the people that are here, either through illegal means or through their residency. They might not have their residency, and so some of the concerns are: will this administration manipulate the law to use the information that these students are filing to perhaps deport some of these parents? Again, I'm not well versed in this with this particular matter, but it is a concern. I thought it was a concern that should be brought up to the board. Perhaps the law could be amended to not make it mandatory, but to as an option for those that want to seek a career as a college career. So that's the concern that I have. I'm hoping that we're able to work with the administration that's coming. Hopefully that won't be the case. We wanted to be proactive with it. So that's just the concern that I wanted to bring to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, codified as NJSA paragraph 10:4-6. Before I ask for a motion to go into executive session, I would like a motion. Actually, I would like to open the table for any questions, any discussion on the consent agenda. This is the time to ask your questions or to make your comments. If there are no questions, if there are no comments, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Yolanda Lopez.
Yes?
Gerald Trueheart. Gene Bowie.
Yes.
Addie Daniels Lane.
Yes.
Austin Edwards.
Yes.
Denise Johnson.
Yes.
Sasa Montagna absent. Larry Trailer.
Yes.
Jeannie Weekland.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, codified as NJSA paragraph 10:4-6, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting under certain circumstances, and whereas the Trenton Board of Education is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, indicated as follows: any material considered confidential by federal law, state statute, or court rule, any pending or anticipated litigation or contract negotiations to which the board is or may become a party to, and any matter falling within the attorney-client privilege to the extent that the confidentiality is required to preserve the attorney-client relationship and allow the attorney to exercise his/her ethical duties as a lawyer, with matters captioned as follow: invoices, sidebar agreement with Trenton Paraprofessional Association, and CCBT versus TBE. Now there be it resolved by the Trenton Board of Education, County of Mercer, State of New Jersey, that an executive session will be held on November 25th, 2024, for the statutorily permissible purposes indicated in this resolution. Be it further resolved that any action may be taken by the board when it reconvenes in open session. Be it finally resolved that the minutes of the executive session with regard to the above subject matter shall be disclosed to the public at a later date, and to the extent that the same is not prejudicial to the interests of the parties involved, no longer adverse to the public interest, or does not endanger any individual's right to privacy. May I have a motion to move into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. Yolanda Lopez.
Yes.
Gerald Trueheart.
Yes.
Gene Bowie.
Yes.
Addie Daniels Lane.
Yes.
Austin Edwards.
Yes.
Denise Johnson.
Yes.
Sasa Montagna absent. Larry Trailer.
Yes.
Jeannie Weekland.
Yes.
Adjourn to executive session.
Thank you.